Las Vegas is the only town in the world whose skyline is made up neither of buildings like New York nor of trees like Wilbraham, Massachusetts, but signs. One can look at Las Vegas from a mile away on Route 91 and see no buildings, no trees, only signs. But such signs. They tower, they revolve, they oscillate, they soar in shapes before which the existing vocabulary of art history is helpless. So here's Tom Wolfe, noted novelist, speaking of Vegas as if it's mere signage, or the signs kind of dominate the skyline, unlike in New York where the actual skyscrapers dominate the skyline.
Yeah.
And I've read, there's an architecture book called Learning from Las Vegas, where they kind of hypothesize that the reason Vegas signs are so big, and basically signs out west in general happen to be big, is because space is kind of vast. And in order for a small little business to kind of telegraph its presence along a big giant highway in the middle of an empty space, they build it just a colossal sign. Whereas in like New York, where everyone's kind of compressed into like walkable streets, you know, they're just walking by, oh, here's a tiny little sign by the shop that I can just step inside. But
right.
You know, I guess Vegas is kind of oriented more towards the superhighway, high speeds, and vast spaces. And
that would make sense.
Yeah.
But also, I mean,
go ahead.
Do you think a little bit of it has to do with like peacocking almost? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. You try to like.
Because do you remember? It was in the '90s where the Hilton had that huge sign. Remember they made that huge, like the world's biggest sign or whatever.
The one at the top of the Hilton Hotel around the.
No. It was on the street.
Oh, right. The one that says Westgate now.
Well, yeah, the one that says Westgate, but that was like twice as big, and it blew over. It was so big.
Yeah, I didn't know that. When did it blow over? The Hilton blew over. The Hilton Hotel sign blew over.
The Hilton sign blew over. I don't know when it was. I can't remember. All I know is that Ronnie James Dio was supposed to play. And,
really?
Yeah, and I was joking that Ronnie, like Dio, needed a sacrifice in order to come to Vegas. So it was like the day before.
Oh, okay.
So the sign was
sacrificed. Was he actually playing at the Hilton?
No. I think he was. God, I want to say he was playing like at the Huntridge of all places.
Oh,
you know, this is like
really?
This is like 90. This is like when Ronnie, like when Dio was like when the metal bands couldn't get a gig anywhere. It was like the height of grunge.
Height of like Nirvana, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know, because like there was a span of time when like Vegas had, and they probably still do, but had like all the highest like prizes or the most like all the records for the largest sign, the widest sign in the world. So like I guess the Thunderbird used to be remember the old Thunderbird? That doesn't exist anymore. It was like the widest sign in the world. What a strange like.
That's a weird.
that's a weird category. But then the Dunes was actually the tallest sign in the world for several years. But no, it's I guess it's quite changed in recent years because Tom Wolfe here talks about these signs, and now like. It looks more like Times Square looks now, which is just video screens. Like a lot of casinos have felt maybe pressure. Because I remember when I first arrived to Vegas, my sister and I were just kids. And we were just hypnotized by something very specific. There was neon signs. And then there were the signs they were made up of a lot of just little light bulbs, just old light bulbs that would spell like, it was like a marquee of light bulbs that would flash on and off, and sometimes they'd wiggle and dance, like free slot play or 99-cent breakfast, and it would like dance around in colored lights. There's probably a technical term for that, but like it wasn't like a video screen, and it wasn't even really neon, though there was a lot of neon. It was just like light bulbs dancing around in a pre-programmed way, and all that. And I thought that had so much character, and it just had a vibe to it that I think the giant video screens kind of lack. These theorists, like architectural theorists, Robert Venturi, Denise Scott Brown, had this book, Learning from Las Vegas, where they talked about how it was pretty common in the Old West for things to have big signs, even back in the old West days. Because if you go to see like an old saloon town in the Old West, that's now like a ghost town or whatever, they would have these big front signs, but behind them they're just these normal buildings that are just these like squares, but like in the front is like these so they call it a decorated shed. It's like you have this big facade, and it might say saloon, and this big, like it's the sign is 3 stories tall. It says saloon, but then you go inside the saloon, it's just 1 story. So it's like deceptively like, hey, look at how it's peacocking. It's like, look how cool this saloon is. It's bigger than these other signs next to it. That's for other competitor saloons. And you go in and it's not that big of a building. It's just the sign is big. And they called that a decorated shed. And so they said that Vegas used to be, back in the Tom Wolfe days, it was like it just had decorated sheds. It was like these enormous signs. But then you go into the building itself, like the Thunderbird or whatever, and it's just a fairly normal building with a giant sign. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Caesar's Palace actually used to be kind of a decorated shed because it did have this colossal sign, and it had like a mid-century modern looking building near it. It didn't have what it has now, which is all the pomp of like Roman architecture and the big like rotunda type looking buildings with the Corinthian columns. So like the building of Caesar's Palace now has Roman opulence all around it with the columns. It looks like a Roman neoclassical or classical building. But back in the day, it wasn't that. It was just the sign with that kind of, remember the green tinted?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it didn't look like, I always thought it looked cool. I kind of like the green glow. But I was like, it doesn't look Roman. What were you saying?
Well, you know what? Like the old MGM, do you remember that? The
one that caught fire?
Yeah, the one that caught fire.
Yeah,
because that had like the big sign and stuff like that. But that was kind of like, if there was like a family friendly place, before it became family friendly, that was kind of like the place that you would go to. But that's
why would you call the MGM a family friendly place? It's just because they had a movie theater, or?
Well, yeah, because they had the movie theater. They had like the little like Hollywood shops. It was like it felt like, because it was a really neat place. Like it was a really neat place.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go there. They had like the movie shop where you go and see like like movie prop type stuff, or you could get like stuff that
right.
It wasn't it didn't feel high end like
yeah.
like Caesar's did, but it was like this. It was a cool place. I mean, there's a bunch of like really cool spots.
But now, like the MGM currently, I think the new MGM has the big lion out front, which is more of, okay. So keep that in mind, because I'm actually going to. So there's this old thing called the decorated shed, which is like a building with a huge sign, like the old MGM, which was just a fairly normal looking building with this big giant MGM sign. Now, somewhere around Caesar's Palace, Aladdin, and then beyond, that started changing, and they went from a thing called a decorated shed to a thing called a duck. And what a duck was like, it was a building. So like if you're a building that sold rubber, if you were a business that sold rubber ducks,
right,
and you built your building in the shape of a duck. You built your building in the shape of a duck to advertise what it was you sold, your whole raison d'etre of like, hey, we're a building that sells. It's like, it reminds me of the weenie wagon, like, or like, we sell hot dogs, so we're in the shape of a hot dog. So go ahead.
Circus. That was like, I think, the first kind of duck.
Right. Yeah. Circus. It was built like a big top. Right.
Yeah.
But then, so that would be considered a quote unquote duck in this definition. So so around the time of Circus Circus and maybe the Aladdin and Caesars, because Caesars started as a decorated shed, but then it turned into a duck when they, in all their renovations, they started like renovating Caesars to look more like a Roman forum on the outside, like the buildings themselves with all the columns and stuff that they eventually did. Now, like the apotheosis, the like pinnacle of all this of duck buildings is like the Luxor, because its theme is like ancient Egypt, and it's built obviously like a pyramid. So everything in the building is like built in. So it's not just a normal building anymore. It's like the shape of the building itself kind of represents what it is or what its theme is. It's like shaped into the Excalibur. Perfect. Yeah. Excalibur. The Venetian and the Paris too.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's like, speaking of like that is like Circus Circus, Excalibur, and Luxor were all circus properties. Those were all the Circus properties.
Right.
Which they ended up selling out to MGM.
Right.
But,
they went haywire. Because like I actually knew. Remember Gary Banis from Bonanza? I don't know if No, his dad was like one of the head dudes at the Excalibur, like I don't know, vice president or something like that. He's pretty high.
He was like Lancelot.
Yeah, he was like Lancelot. Lancelot. No, I remember actually after they built the Mirage and they started doing groundbreaking on the Excalibur, I went over to Gary's house and he had this giant. His dad was gifted this giant fake Excalibur sword as a gift to say like, hey, this is good job. We're going to build this thing and it's going to be amazing. Here's your Excalibur sword. So my point is though that like there's all these ducks basically, but then it changed again because they don't build ducks anymore. The Aria, the Cosmo, and the Fontainebleau, like all these more recent buildings, just kind of look like normal but high-end modern or super modern or maybe even postmodern buildings that look like buildings, although they're a little bit, they're fancy or they're built, they're quirky, they're kind of like lopsided but they're not built in to look like something else, like a pyramid or like an Eiffel Tower or something far away, and as a reference to some other culture or civilization. They're just a quirky building called the Aria or the Cosmo or the Fontainebleau.
I think what, again, I don't know, but I think real quick, the Bellagio is kind of like that. They're thematically like,
Italy, Italian. Yeah. So they're a duck.
Kind of and kind of not. But I think maybe the perception is that they were trying to take it out of the Vegas kitschy kind of area. You know what I'm saying?
So you think that people perceive that as a little kitschy now, like the idea of making a duck?
I mean, wouldn't you think that I work in a hotel that's a damn pyramid. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I like the different person.
Yeah, me too. But I think I'm totally picking up where you're going with this, and I actually agree. What I think it is like when you're building, like it's at some point, some of these buildings, they start to look dated because like now, if you're building like a pyramid, it's an homage to the 1990s when they built pyramids in Las Vegas, and it's like it seems a little bit passé now. Like plus, if you're making like a casino that looks like one thing very specific, like a King Arthur's castle, then at some point like most companies want to kind of shift their branding a little bit. They want to adjust, they want to modernize, they want to get with the times. But if all of your branding is like so stamped into a particular form, like a freaking castle, there's nowhere to go from there. You can't like, we used to be castle, but now we are jungle gym, or now we are, we're gonna change. We're gonna like, you can't refurbish a castle.
So with the castle, like,
and so it starts to look kitschy after a while.
Right. Like, you can either go King Arthur,
Mm-hmm.
or you can, like, if they were to sell the Excalibur, they could rebrand it like Halloween Town or like Draculaville. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they could do Dracula. You're right. It could be a haunted castle.
But what I'm like, as we're talking, what maybe it is, and I think maybe this is what you're getting at, is that Fontainebleau could be like the shape of the building could be any other name, like any other fancy name.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you're not committed to a theme. You can
sell Fontainebleau. I mean, granted, that's
right.
You could sell Fontainebleau, and it could be Bob's big casino, and with some change of signage, you can just move right in.
Right. But you can't really sell the Luxor unless you're selling it to like Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah.
Did you see the Bass Pro Shop that is built in a casino in Tennessee, or built in a pyramid?
When the aliens come down, all they really want to see is the pyramid by the river down in Memphis, Tennessee. Made of glass and some brass, it'll knock you on your ass, make a damn jaw drop.
What's that?
It's our Bass Pro Shop. Duh, what you think it was? Doesn't every city have a big ass pyramid by the mud? Yeah, some people wipe their eyes because they think that they're on drugs. But they're really at the best place to shop. It's our Bass Pro Shop.
So it could either be a casino or a Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think you nailed it. Like people get kind of iffy about committing to like putting all their eggs in that basket, where this basket is the shape of a pyramid, and they can't really do anything with it other than represent ancient Egypt. And once that becomes cliche or corny, people are like, well, now I'm stuck with this building that I can't like do any kind of renovation or thematic change to. It's like I'm committed.
Well, yeah, it certainly is, because like, okay, with Vegas World, like back in the day, Vegas World had a vision. Like, do you remember when Vegas World, which is the Stratosphere now, right?
Mm.
But Vegas World had the astronaut on the side of the building, and it was like really kitschy. I worked, right?
Right.
And, like, they wanted to build the world's tallest, observation tower or whatever. But it's like one guy owned it. It was like Bob Stupak. It's like, this is what I want. This is,
it's one man's vision.
And Circus is kind of the same thing. And then because Circus branched off into Excalibur and the Luxor and stuff like that. It's like, this is our vision. This is what's going to be known in Vegas. And like, it wasn't like they weren't beholden to shareholders. You know what I'm talking about? And I think a lot of times, like, I don't blame them, but I don't want to say like, you want to play it safe, because I mean, you're still not playing it safe when you open up a $1 billion casino.
Right. No. Any business is a risk.
But
so
when you start getting into that kind of money, like, man, I would hedge my bet for sure.
Right. So the visual aesthetic of something like the Fontainebleau that you can sell, and that you're not so committed to just like one corny idea or potentially kitschy idea. And is adaptable to other investors.
Although I gotta say, man, Hard Rock is opening up a casino where the Mirage was, and they're building a 20-story Les Paul.
Oh no way! Well, I guess what we just said is completely out the window then, because like that's
that's on
awesome.
brand. That is on brand.
Right, but that's a duck though. So maybe we do. Vegas still builds ducks.
Honestly, like to see it come back, or at least to have like a variety. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
I actually think, like, if we're talking about stripping away all the ornamentation that you get at Caesars and the Luxor and the Excalibur, take away all those cultural, references to the past or to ancient civilizations, the pinnacle of that is actually the Sphere, not a casino necessarily, but it's like it's just a screen, so it's like always updatable, and it doesn't really point to anything permanently. It can point to everything like ephemerally. So it's like you can always change the screen. It's like a screen on an iPhone. That sphere it can be like a smiley face. It can be a campfire. It can, like, from the outside looking at it can be like a setting sun. It could be, you could project anything on it. So it's kind of like perfectly malleable. And it does, like, so we're talking about committing to a shape like the pyramid or whatever. You don't have to, even though it's a sphere, it's a weird shape, but you can make it into anything you want, just like that. It's like, well.
Yeah, I haven't been in there yet.
Neither have I. Brother, I've just been on the outside.
I wish I would. Like, they did the hockey draft in there a couple of years back.
Oh, wow.
My brother and friend went, and I don't know why I didn't go. But I wish I would have, because, man, it's like they're doing this Wizard of Oz.
It's like 3D AI Wizard of Oz, and they actually blow wind into the audience, so you feel like you're in a. That's freaking cool.
I think it's like $100 to go see Wizard of Oz, which
it's kind of a lot.
Yeah, considering I watched it for free every year.
But think about it: if you're in this dome or this sphere, it just feels like you're probably in a big snow globe. It's like snow swirling around or whatever.
My brother said when he walked in, it's like you've got to look down at first, because like the vertigo is
really, yeah.
Well, yeah, he's like he had to like focus down until he sat in the seat, and then you get used to it. It's kind of like, remember the Omnimax?
Well, that's what I was just about to say, because I used to go see movies at the Omnimax, and it was that same feeling of like, oh no, I'm gonna fall, because like they're showing like hang gliders or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Omnimax, I mean, the Omnimax being at Caesar's Palace was interesting because, you know, from the outside it was just a sphere. It was kind of a 70s geodesic dome kind of sphere.
Yeah.
Which also had panels that lit up into different like shapes.
They had a program to where it made like different patterns.
Yeah, it made like the panels would light up into different patterns on the exterior. But that's another thing, because like it's like from the outside it looked like a modern or modernist or mid-century modern dome building, or kind of like a 70s geodesic dome building. So there wasn't anything like architecturally Roman about it, but the name Omnimax was pure Latin, so it was like, oh, okay, so that justifies us having this here at Caesar's Palace. It's called the Omnimax. Speaking of that, do you feel like the idea of commercial real estate itself has become like passé in this world where everything is kind of virtual? I mean, like even gambling, you can gamble. I could gamble on my phone right now, like. And so Vegas might be having to play catch up, and not like, but it just has to compete with a lot of other sources of entertainment, not just gambling type entertainment, but just anything. Like people are just doing Netflix and chill with boxed wine, and why would they get up and get on a plane and go to Vegas when they could just gamble on their phone or whatever?
Well, I think that's why Vegas is kind of pivoting towards where it's going. Mm-hmm. You know, where gambling isn't the sole thing that it focuses in on. It's like got like really like fine dining stuff that you can't get
and things like the Sphere, you know.
Yeah,